Hi guys, hi everybody. Trust we are good. Alright, so this is an introduction to Python programming language, and Python is a high-level scripting language, and it is used for device use for product development, software development, for machine learning and artificial intelligence, data science, and other things that you can think of. Python is widely used because of its features and it is simple to use. So, one of the reasons why people adopt or people use Python is because of its simplicity and its features, which it's a whole lot, and we can talk about that some other time. All right. So, in Python, let's quickly rush through some important aspects of Python that you should know before you can write any program in Python. So indentation, Python does not allow unnecessary spacing. If you put unnecessary spacing, then you have error. So the spacing, the indentation comes after a block of code, and an example is what you can see here. You can see this is a block of code. You can see a column. After the column, we must have an indented statement before this program can run. But when there is really no block of code, you don't just indent, you don't just put spacing, the code will not run. Alright, so quickly, these are examples anyway. If you see, okay, so let's talk about comments in Python programming too. So comment has the ability of making the code not to run. It is the command that prevents the execution of such program, and it makes the code readable. If you have a block of code with comment, you can explain what the block of code, the action the block of code will perform, or what that block of code is meant to do. Just give something, a narrative about that section of the code. So it can be done with comment. All right, so how do we comment in Python? For a single line, we use the hashtag, the Nara symbol. Don't know why I'm saying hashtag. The Nara symbol. All right, for example, this is a comment, because this, if you see, it changes to a green color, which is what you most often seen in your Python program. So what about if we have more lines of code? So we use 3 columns. Use 3 columns from the beginning and to the end. That is for multi-line what commenting, a multi-line comment. But for a single line, you use an error sign and you are good to go. Alright, so another thing that we should quickly talk about are the I think the data type in Python. So we have Python variable, and Python variable has different data types. It can be in integer, it can be in string, it can be in float. So for the integer is said to be a whole number. When you see integer, it is mostly represented in Python as int. So integer means that the number is a whole number. Why for floating means that the number is a decimal number. So we call it a floating number in Python. So it is a data type that is used to represent decimal figure or decimal number, while int is used to represent whole number. Then we have another called the string. For the string, it is characters in quotes. An example is this John. This Y now, if you are asked what is the data type of this Y, it is string, because what is assigned to it is what is character in quote. Why this X is what is integer. is int what data type, because we assigned a value, a whole number to it. All right, so that's that about that. Let's see what. Okay, for the Python variables, if you are choosing your variable name, there are rules and regulations to follow in, having Python pro variable. Your variable must start with a letter for it to be valid, or underscore character. A variable name cannot start with a number. Is a taboo in Python. It can't start with a number. It will flag error. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores. Alphanumeric meaning that you can make with number rather, number with figure, yeah, then underscores. So variable names are also case sensitive. This is very important in Python. It is very important to note. Take for example what I have here. If you look at this now, this is my var. See the my in small letter and the v in capital letter. So now this is not the same thing as this my var that you have it, because Python is case sensitive. We have other programming languages that are not case sensitive, but for this Python it is case sensitive. If you have John small letter j as your variable name, and later in your code you are using capital letter J for John, Python will not recognize it, because we have two different characters at that moment. All right, so we can talk about the different case that we have in all right, so I think we should go into how we can install Python. Yeah, let's quickly do that, then we know the next line of action. All right, so in order to install Python on your PC, you go to your browser and type python.org, python.org. Type on your browser and it will launch you to the Python official website. So you can choose for the device the type of OS that you are downloading to. For me, I'm using Windows, so I click on Windows. If you are using all these OS, the Mac OS and the Linux, you can always download. But for the window, click on the window, then click on download. I'm using 64-bit, so I click on the download. So because I have downloaded before, and here I think here I have something. Yeah. Alright, so and here I've downloaded my so let's close. So the next thing is to go to your menu and search for IDLE. IDLE. All right, so this is the environment where you can now code, where you can write your code. And all right, so since we have this now, we have our idle shell open. It sounds funny anyway. So it's actually supposed to be the what is it called, environment, the coding environment. This is the output environment actually. So for us to open the coding environment, can just new and then place it side by side. Yeah, let's do this. Place it side by side. So this is my coding environment, and we have the output here. But it is a shell, where you have your command run and your output display. All right, so a quick one. Let's start with the print function. Print function is used to output anything in Python. For example, a very common one for every beginner, hello world. Yeah, that is when they will know you have arrived. So hello world and the bracket. So let's run this. We are here to save this though. Let's save. All right, let's save with testing. There. All right, let's save with testing. So let's go with that. And yeah, we have the output here. Hello world. All right, so let's quickly come back to what we have here. But I talked about the data type the other time, the string, the boolean. Okay, I didn't mention boolean. Boolean is actually true or false. You can say is that it is on or off. It's either it is yes or no. So it represents a logical operation. It is basically used for logical operation. Is it on or off? Is it true or false? Is it 1 or 0? It is on off. I think I mentioned that earlier. All right, so I've talked about the floating data type. Float data type means decimal value. Y for the integer, it means what? The whole number. Then string characters in quotes, which can be a single quote or double quote. All right, let's do something else. So let's go with what we have here, printing output. We've done the first one, printing outputs using the print what is it called? We said print hello world. All right, so let's do another one now that will require that user enter a particular value, then we print out that value. So we say getting user input with input function. So we have what we call input function. This is we've used the print function here. What we have here, let me try to see, I can minimize this. What we have here now is print function. That is when we're able to place our character into this print function and it performs its function here. So we now want to use input function. So while we're using input function, it will prompt the user to enter a particular value. Then we now put in our print function to output the user's data. All right, so let's quickly check that out. You can see an example is name. We say input enter name, and here we print this. All right, so let's go back to our shell. Let me try to comment this. Remember I told that you can comment using Naira symbol. Sorry, I'm trying to find my Naira symbol. Okay. All right, so this has been commented out. So let's come here to write another code. It's a name equals input, yeah, enter your name, enter your name. All right, so by the time the name is entered, then I have my print function to what? To print out name. I will not say, instead of saying that print name, I'll not say my name is, all right, then put comma and put this name. Let me explain what I did here. All right, for this particular print function, just like we did in this hello world, you can see that what we put inside this print function is printed out. You see that word in quotes returns the same way. So meaning that what we have here in quote will return like this, and here I'm assigning something coming from this input to this name. So whatsoever thing I'm giving to this name that is coming from this input that is being given to this name, we now display after. Yeah, we display after. So let's run this one and see what we have here. So this is prompting the user to enter name. Let me say Ada Obi. Yeah, Ada Obi. Then you enter key. Can you see my name is Ada Obi? Yeah, now you get what the print function and the input function can do. Let's do another quick one. So this is a multi-line now. Let me use my quotes. Yeah, All right, so let's do something now. Let's use our data type to do something now. So sorry, print. Let's say a equals int, because I want to prompt the user to enter value, int input, yeah, enter first value. All right, so oh sorry, the column. Then remember we have two open brackets here. We have the first one and we have the second one. So let's take b equals int input, enter second value. Yeah, all right, so make sure the brackets complete. All right, the next action is now sum. Let me assign this and I say my a plus b. Then my print operation will now come as print. I don't just want to say print sum. I'll now say the sum is, all right, let's put colon is sum. So let's do this now. All right, so let's run this. I will now explain. So first value, let me say 4. Second value, let's say 5. And we have the sum is 9. So what I did here is this int. I can actually do without putting this int though. But this int, let's even try. Let's try. Yeah. You can see what happened there. You can see what happened there. It's just assume that this is a string. All right, so the default data type for this input operation is string. So meaning that whatsoever thing that is being entered by, that is being supplied by the user through input function, is expected, is assumed to be stringed, that is characters in quotes, words in quotes. Do you get? But now, because it is value and I want to make a calculation, I am trying to convert this string to what? To integer. And that is why I'm being specific by putting int before my input operation. I am specific. I want to convert the string, the characters that is coming, to number that can be used as calculation, to number that can be calculated. So, and that is why I am putting this integer, telling my Python that the number I'm expecting, the solution that I'm expecting is to be a whole number. All right, so let's take this again. So now this sum, and I assign my a plus b. That is my operation. This is an assignment statement. I assign my a plus b to this sum, meaning that whatsoever action that is done by this, the output is assigned to this sum. And that is where we are able to get the final output when we are printing using our print operation. All right, let's quickly run this again. All right, so to enter our first value, let's say 8. Our second value, let's say 8. That's 16, right? And what do we have there? The sum is 16. So what now happen if I decide to make this int float? Not, I told you it's just a data type. It is a floating character, right? It's a data type, but this time a decimal value. Now let's see what we happen. You see the difference between what I did earlier and what is going to happen now. Let's run this and say the output. All right, so I will give you that value 8 and 8 again. Do you see what happened? Meaning that the operation here, the inputs collected from the user is being converted to floating value. For Python, for programming language that uses this kind of data type, even if you're entering an integer, because you have indicated that this particular operation is in floating value, then we add a decimal to it, and that is why we have 16.0. If you are calculating, if I also want to truncate this decimal, I can come to this print and specify that my operation should come in whole number. So what do I mean? Like I said now, that because you have indicated that the output the input is what is in decimal value, that is a floating value, and that is why we are having that 16.0. So what will happen now is that I can truncate that decimal and tell my program to ensure that whatsoever value that is coming should be whole number. Truncate every decimal part of it, and here I will put integer in my output here. Just indicate the data type that should be returned. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. The value, let's say 7 and let's say 8. So now, instead of having 15.0 like the other one, now we have what? We have 15. So the same thing applies to if I have int here. If I have int here and I want my value to what? When I have int here now, definitely if I say 5 plus 4, it will give me 9. But if I want my value to be in floating value, like to be in decimal value, I can also go ahead and put indicate the data type for the output. All right, let's say, for example, let's take this 7 again. This 7 and 8. 7, 8. You can say 15.0. All right, so that will be all for today. So keep checking for the next video to drop. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.